In today's conversation, I would like to discuss with you reality being rigged in your favor. We're pulling into a wonderful parking lot here in Lakeshore in Toronto, and I would like to share with you today a number of places that I go to have wonderful insights. And so in today's conversation, I trust that you too will gather some wonderful insights as we discuss reality being rigged in your favor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to park over here, and then I'm going to jump on my longboard. We're going to go for a nice ride, and we're going to go to a wonderful spot where lately I've been going to and capturing wonderful insights. So this is going to be a fun conversation. Let's do that. So that is the longboard we're going to be taking. I could have actually parked closer, but one of the things that we can do is enjoy this wonderful Sunday morning on a nice longboard ride and also have some wonderful insights in relation to our conversation. So let's go ahead and do that. So reality is rigged in your favor. As you see clearly, when the illusions of separation-based beliefs that belong to the old man, as referred to in the Bible, are released. Now, two key insights that I would like to infuse into our primary insight today of reality being rigged in your favor is that I found that allowing things to happen naturally, as well as listening to intuition, inevitably results in being as you are. Surrendering completely to the flow of God and witnessing life unfold through the single eye of God as you appear to be in flow and everything and everyone appears to flow with you to actualize your ideals in mutually harmonious ways. This has been my experience and those that I've worked with over the years since the genesis of this channel in 2013. So we're almost at the location right now, and what I would like to do is discuss those two particular areas with you. Number one is intuition, and number two is allowing things to happen naturally. We can actually relate them both together because as you listen to intuition and not the mental chatter, you actually allow things to happen naturally. That's what I found. Yet, there can be moments on the entrepreneurial journey, on the bridge of incidents, where the individual may be identified with doubt, or uncertainty, or fear, or something like that. And there's no shame in condemnation. Those are opportunities to apply Romans 12:2, which again is not conforming to the patterns of this world, but being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And why do we do it? Well, it says to test and approve what God's will is, his good, perfect, and pleasing will. So, good, perfect, and pleasing will, that sounds to me like reality being rigged in your favor. So, every time I took these opportunities on the journey to manifesting my entrepreneurial successes for the 3 successful businesses that I built, one in IT, one in consulting, and the third with this YouTube channel. Every time I took one of those opportunities, mind became purified. And I found that the appearances changed. So it's true. The good, perfect, pleasing will of God, by not conforming to the pattern of this world, acknowledging that reality is rigged in my favor and thus your favor as well, we actually witness a change. It could be a person changing, it could be an environment changing. You know, I like to refer to the Robert Dilts logical level. So it could be something in the environment, people, information, circumstance. It could be something with your capabilities, skill cultivation, for example. I find that I cultivate the skill faster, easier, flow-based. Behaviors change. Some of these habits where the person might think those habits are not helpful for them, They are habits that, let's say, for example, procrastination, they're no longer there. They're just not there anymore. Because the individual has surrendered over to divine will, the good, perfect, pleasing will. So on the journey, this is where the opportunities reside. On the journey, because you've already decreed a thing, your vision, so it shall come to pass, as stated. And on the journey, there may be opportunities to walk by faith. You might not know how to change the situation, but by simply not reacting, what happens is the appearances change. And then intuition arises. The still small voice, clarity arises by simply not reacting. Now, it took me a number of years to articulate the message that I'm articulating today with such simplicity and precision. And part of the reason is I find that this is an ongoing journey. So as I commit to, let's say, the next level of actualizing my ideal, which is continuously realizing, there may be also opportunities. So allowing things to unfold naturally as reality is rigged in our favor, listening to intuition via the still small voice or hunches and inspirations that are received within, which may not make any logical sense. Through these ways, we experience mind purification and a flow-based journey to manifesting the vision. So here we are at the location. Let's get set up. So as mentioned, the flow-based journey to manifesting your vision on the entrepreneurial journey, whatever your vision may be, is a result of remaining in your flow. So I could say to you, just remain in your flow. I've also created a flow-based life series. I've created 5 programs, and I've taught many entrepreneurs over the years how to remain in their flow to manifest their vision. So I could simply say, remain in your flow. And if you know exactly what I mean by that, then it's done. You remain in your flow. Yet if there are these opportunities to purify the subconscious mind from these untrue beliefs that generate illusions of separation, and by that I mean resistance, fear, doubt, uncertainty in relation to love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, which is simply not true, as you are unconditional love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Your existence is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. As you release identification to these beliefs, which may present themselves in opportunities to release that identification, you could say they trigger you into delight, or they trip you into delight. Here's what I mean by that. Let's say you're having a conversation with a prospective client, and they're interested in doing a deal with you. But they say they're not able to do the deal on the specific date which you would like them to do the deal in, so that you can hit your monthly quota. They actually say, well, 3 months from now, and you would like to hit your monthly quota this month. So they're not able to commit to it till 3 months from now. If in that moment you feel uncertainty, doubt, fear, tension, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. Because remember, you are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. That is an opportunity to not conform to the pattern of this world. Now, the pattern of this world doesn't suggest anything to you. You suggest what this world means to you. So if you experience, let's say, emotions, strong emotions, which you could label as fear, uncertainty, anxiety, in that moment, take a deep breath and release the emotion. I can assure you this gets easier and easier with practice. And every time you do that, you release identification to whatever that belief was. You may know what that belief was, you may not know what that belief was. But I can assure you that you will release identification to that belief. Now, after you release identification to that belief, or after being still and releasing the emotions and not identifying with the untrue thoughts, the illusory thoughts that suggest not love, not happiness, not peace, not bliss, not fulfillment, what happens is clarity arises. Intuition provides the next step. And it could be an unconventional move. It could be do something different. It could be make a bold move and focus your attention in a different direction. Try something new in your business, which intuition gives you within. And so you end up taking that step, and then what ends up happening is your business grows, and you end up achieving your monthly income goal, and then 3 months later, this client comes back and they want to do the deal with you. So intuition provided that. What sometimes we do see is the person ends up being still, releasing identification to that untrue belief, whether it's a belief or beliefs. What happens is then maybe that person comes back. I've seen that happen a number of times as well. They come back and say, you know what, I changed my mind about doing this deal 3 months later. I actually want to do it right now. Either way is fine, because either way you are fine. See, either way you are unconditional love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. So with respect to Romans 12:2, what is being discussed is that by not conforming to the patterns of this world, which is illusory because the world does not suggest anything to you, by not conforming to the patterns in mind, the appearances change to reflect the good, perfect, pleasing will of God. So 2 keys. Number 1, listen to your intuition. Be still. Perhaps go into nature. As mentioned, these are specific spots that I go to, which I'm sharing with you today, and I plan on sharing more in the upcoming videos, where I experience vivid clarity, for whatever the reason may be. Which brings me to my next point. Anytime a person is identified with doubt, mentally they can ask themselves the question, can I change how I relate to it? Can I accept it the way it is? Or could I do something different? Now here's the interesting thing. It starts with acceptance. It doesn't mean accept that this is not going to work out in your favor. It means be unconditional, be as you are to appearances. Be unconditional love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment to appearances. See reality through the single eye of God. As in, not from the premise of lacking love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, but rather being as you are, unconditionally accepting this world. We could say detaching from the illusory thinking and acknowledge that existence itself, the fact that you exist, is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. That's how you experience oneness with God in the moment. So what happens is when you do that, it clarifies, changing this particular experience by relating it to it differently. Do I say, let it be, and then it'll end up in my favor? Or do I do something different? One way is not better than the other. The answer is it depends, and you reveal the answer in the stillness, in the silence. This is why many sages, for many thousands of years, have always mentioned the power of stillness, the power of silence. Some even went so far as to say that silence is the greatest teacher. That might not make sense to a person who thinks in terms of trying to solve, let's say, seeming challenges by overthinking, just going around in circles, stuck in their head. By being still, the particular insight is revealed. It's revealed in the moment. And what I found in the entrepreneurial journey is it generally tends to fall within the following categories: automation, delegation, optimization, elimination. It could be part or in whole or in combination. So that's what I do, very practically, to conclude this video. If in the moment you are about to react to an appearance on the entrepreneurial journey to manifesting your vision, and you can see how this is applicable for any vision, be it relationship goals, family goals, whatever you'd like. If on the journey you're about to react to an appearance, be still. Release the emotions. Allow the emotions to be released. Do not identify with the untrue thinking. Do not identify with the untrue thinking with respect to thinking in mind and with respect to emotions. Let them be for the moment. Let them be for the moment. And then what happens is intuition arises. Now this happens quite fast, you could say, or it can happen in moments where you take a moment to do this, maybe a minute or two, and then as you continue to do this, you'll be able to do it instantaneously. And that's where we see a reconciliation of things happening ideally, automatically, as I say, naturally in your favor and intuition. You'll find you'll automatically do things. You may not think about it. You may not notice the still small voice. You may not notice the hunch or inspiration. You'll automatically do it. Again, one way is not better than the other. For me, the reconciliation between I and the Father happened on the journey to manifesting my vision. So that's why it is stated in the Bible. Two things. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall come to pass. And also, it states in Romans 12:2, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, perfect, and pleasing will. So in that moment, that opportunity point, if you're about to react, be still, release the identification to untrue thinking with respect to emotions and untrue thinking in general, and allow things to unfold. Be still, and clarity arises, intuition arises, maybe the next step, or things may change on their own. That is not up for the individual to think about. That's God's plan. Do you realize how many nuances, infinity nuances, are kept into consideration so that reality can appear to be in your favor? If you overthink and try to control and try to figure out how, that may result in further overthinking, trying to control things, which is why I simplify it. I simplify it by saying, make flow a priority. Remain in your flow. If you remain in your flow, all these things that I talk about here, and I recommend my flow-based life series, all these things that I talk about here happen. They happen. All these things, they naturally happen. Intuition happens. Things work out in your favor, happens. Flow-based journey to manifesting your vision. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's conclude this with an auto-suggestion to further encourage. You could say, I acknowledge the still small voice as the greatest teacher in the universe. I acknowledge intuition as the greatest teacher in the universe as they arise from the source of reality, God, who rigs reality in my favor. As I remain as I am, the appearances change. The still small voice becomes the only voice I listen to, as I and the Father are one. And as the Father being greater than I, the greatness that I am here to witness appears more so each moment with increasing frequency on a continuous basis as far as the senses perceive.